All right, welcome back. We're here to continue our work in this class selection screens. I'm going to reactivate my bonus select and deactivate the class select. What I want to do though is I don't want to have to keep doing this all the time because then I have to switch it back before I go into play mode. So what I'm going to do is going to create a little sort of a game manager object here, and all it's going to do is going to switch them automatically for us. So we'll just create a trigger on start trigger, and then all we'll do is just set active, and we're going to set the class select active, and we're going to deactivate the bonus select so that we can, and then it'll be better when you're playing it. It'll go back to here, and then when we end it, it'll come back to where we were. So that's a little improvement there. The next thing I want to do is replace this with, now this one is, it's an image and an input field, but we don't need an input field because we're not going to be typing into this. We're just using the buttons to increase and decrease. Bonus amount. So we want to delete the bonus amount, and we're just going to recreate it because it's easier to do. Just text mesh pro and call it bonus amount, and we'll put it back in where that was and put it to 0 0, put it to 0 0, and we got 0, and I'm going to size it in there. Make sure we use the blue handles, otherwise it's going to be a little difficult. Make sure everything is centered, and then I think the font size of 60 will do. And now that we've got this one, we can get rid of the other one. So that bonus amount we can delete. This one will clone and move the clone down here, and we'll move it to 0 0, so it'll be right there. So there we go. That's a lot better, I think, and so that's good. So now what we want to do is get these plus and minus buttons working. So what do we need for that? We need some new variables. So, and one other thing I want is a total points thing here. So let's create that first. So in here, we want a UI, just another text, and it's going to be called points. And we'll just put it under the title, and we're going to, let's move it, we're just moving it up here, and that'll have 0, and we will center that, make it 60, I think, or 70 even, maybe bigger. We'll make it a little bit bigger. We'll just put it right above the others. So try 72. So that'll represent the total number of points we have. So this will be, it will be 5 initially because we're going to let them select up to 5 bonus points split amongst strength and dexterity. So for this points, we need a variable to hold that. So, or we have to load it from a variable. So we're gonna, let's see, in the global variables, I've added a variable called bonus points, a number, and it's set to 5. And then all we have to do is load it from when we click the continue button from the first screen. Let's see. Yeah, we don't need to worry about the branches. We'll just add it right here. We'll set number. We'll set text. Set text. And it will be the UI text. And that is points from that variable. Global variables and bonus points. So that should read 5 when we come in here. Doesn't matter which one we select. It's 5. Now, for some reason, the highlighting has stopped working on there, and I'm not sure what it is, but if I fix it, I will follow up on that later. So it's 5. Okay, so that's working. And now we need to, what else do we need? We need to keep track of how many points they've selected. So I've created a global variable called bonus allocation with 2 fields in it, strength and dexterity numbers. So we're going to store whatever they select and click continue. It's going to store these values into here, and we've got them saved. So when we click the buttons, it's going to store that anyway. So okay, so we don't need to do that. All right, so let's look at the logic for these buttons. So the decrease button, let's start with this decrease button. So we want to be able to decrease it if this value here is greater than 0. So otherwise, you don't want it to go negative. So let's put in a check conditions. And we're going to check the compare number integer, I guess. And we want to check that variable in this bonus allocation variable. For the strength, because we're looking at strength. And it should be greater than 0. So if it's greater than 0, then we can decrement that. Is there a decrement? No, increment number. So we want increment number, bonus allocation, strength -1. Okay. So when we decrement this, we want to put that point back into the pool of points. So we also want to increment this the variable behind this field here. So let's do that. So we'll just copy that. And this time I want to go up by 1, and it's going to be this global variable and bonus points. So that's +1. And then what we want to do is the same for this dexterity minus button. We'll do exactly the same here, but with dexterity. So let's see here. Where is it? Text. We want the button. Okay. So check if dexterity is greater than 0. And then we'll just copy this. And it'll be the dexterity that's being decreased. And the same global variable. Bonus points goes up by 1 again, same thing. So those are done, and now we want the plus buttons. So for the plus button, we want if the bonus, if this is greater than 0, then we can increase it by 1. So we will check that. I'm just going to copy though it's a lot faster to do. So we're copying that, but we're going to change what it's looking at. So we're going to look at the global variables bonus points. If it's greater than 0, that means we have points to spend. So we can increment. So we'll copy that and paste it in. We'll increment the strength bonus allocation, and we will decrement. And I think, yeah, so we're doing the opposite of what we did for the other one. So, yeah, we're going to increment and then decrement the amount of bonus points that are available. And then, so the same thing for the other button increase for dexterity. So let's just copy that, and we can paste that in and use dexterity instead. Button increase. Here we go. And yeah, bonus points -1. So that should do that. So now these buttons will do something, but you'll notice it's not going to update the UI at all. So if we click this, nothing seems to be happening. But if we look at our variable, the bonus points is 3. Bonus allocation is 2. So it actually is working. It can only go up to 5. And then if there's 3, then you get 2 dexterity. So what we want to do is make sure we're updating the UI next. So we need something to update this UI whenever these amounts change. Those 3 variables change. So the easiest way to do that would be, I'm just going to create like a UI manager. And in the UI manager, we'll have a trigger looking for changes to those variables. We're going to have 3 triggers actually. So on global name variable change. So let's do the bonus allocation and look for when that strength variable changes. Then all we have to do is set the text UI text, and that will be the strength bonus amount, and it'll be coming out of the variable bonus allocation strength. Okay, so the next trigger is going to look for changes to the dexterity one. Bonus allocation, dexterity. And then we're going to set, I'll just paste that in. I'm going to set this bonus amount for dexterity to the dexterity button. or variable. And then the third trigger is going to look for changes to that points, bonus points global variable. And when that, I'm just going to copy this, paste, and when that changes, we need to update this points, where it is, points variable from the global variables bonus points. So that should do it. Okay. And now we have, and that doesn't do anything. Okay. 3. So this works. So you'll notice that this here isn't working. So let's look at that for a second. The reason this is not working is because if we'll see this field here, this dex amount field, it's so big, it's overlapping this. So we need to make it smaller so that it's not overlapping. Use the blue handles. So as long as it's not overlapping that one, it should be okay. As long as there's nothing. See, this one is too. So I found that if there's overlapping fields on your UI, it may cause these issues. Okay, let's just do that. Let's try that. And see if that works better. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it works a lot better. So, and the other thing we want to do is prevent them from continuing until they've spent all their points. So the continue button should have a check conditions on it. And we're going to move that up here. Check conditions. Compare integer. And then we're going to take a look at that variable. Bonus points. If it is greater than 0, it's never going to go minus 0, so below 0. So if it's greater than 0, actually we can just go, if it's equal to 0, then we can load the scene. If it's not, and now we could, it might be better to do a conditions where if it's not 0, then you might put a message or something, an error, but this should prevent the next scene from loading until they've allocated all their points. So if I do that and hit continue, it shouldn't continue until that's 0. So if I'm missing a point, then I have to spend all my points before it will load, and it's loading now. So okay. All right, so we've got that working. So the next thing is, all right, so I want to create a main menu so that we can either have a new game button or a continue button based on whether or not there's a save game that exists. So let's create a new screen. So I'm going to hide the bonus select screen now. And yeah, I'll keep the background. So what we're going to do is have an empty, create empty. We'll call it main menu. And then underneath this, we can create our text elements, whatever we want. However, without, we're going to lay it out, but we'll just do a text for the title, the game title, and then that can be, I'll just set it to game title for now, and then we'll make it big, put it up here around the halfway mark, and then center it. And here we go. Let's make it big. So we got the game title, and then we want an area here. You could have an image right here. So that would be just a placeholder. Let's see. UI image. That would be your game splash screen or splash image or something you want. So you'd have that. This might take up the whole screen, but we're just going to put it here for now. Give us room on the side for the main menu. Oh, maybe this needs to be a rect transform. That way, the title. Yeah, okay, that's the reason. So if your top level item just says transform and not rect transform, that's a problem. So the main menu, see now it's all out of whack. So what we're going to do is take these out, unparent them for a minute, then I can make this the whole size of the screen. That's better. And then we can reparent those and put those in. And then the game title, now it should tell me when I'm halfway, right there. So we'll just leave it like this for now. And then on the side we can have our menu here. So let's create a panel, another image here, panel. We'll do that. Panel will work. Panel's an image anyway. It's just, I'm not sure what the difference is, but it's because it's stretched the whole way. That's the reason. But we don't want that, so we can undo that. We can just do, we want ours to be like that on the side. And we can then do this like this. We'll just put it here. And then, yeah, the reason it's already got the alpha turned down, so that's good. And we can maybe change the color. And then we have ourselves a panel. Let's make it like that. And then in this panel, we want a vertical, or I guess like you're going to have a new game or continue game, a settings, and an exit. So let's just do that. So we're going to create I think we're going to create an empty, and it does have the rect transform. We want to create an empty that is a layout component in it. So we're going to make it a vertical layout component, vertical layout group. So in this group, we're going to put our menu items. So we can do buttons, I guess. We want to do game creator buttons though. Text Mesh Pro. Yeah, we'll do that. Put it under layout, and it automatically, the layout automatically determines where it goes. So let's take a look at the layout. We'll figure that out later. So this will be your new game button. And we're going to make it bigger by 50 or 100. Now it's 200 maybe. Yeah, there we go. And then we need to move it. Can't move it. Oh, button. Okay. 320. Is it this? Child arrangement, upper center. Oh, there we go. Upper center, middle center. Oh, so yeah. We can, okay, so the middle, you went center. Okay, so that's good. So we want to make this maybe wider. So it takes up the whole width. So that'd be 450. And that'll be our new game. And we can make this black, I guess, and the text will be white. Okay. And we're going to make this bigger. There we go. That's our new game button. Let's see, we don't have any other fonts, so that's good for now. And then I'm going to change the name of this to button new game. Button new game. And if this button exists, then we're going to assume there's no saved game. So it will go to the next screen, the class selection screen. So we want to set active. Set active class select, and we want to deactivate the main menu. Okay. So new games, you want to go to that screen, and then we will clone this button. So this will be our continue button. And we're not going to do save slots and all that in this, but so I'm going to delete that. And then we're just going to load the scene, the main scene. Load scene main. So it'll go directly into the game because it'll have a save game. And that this main scene loads the game at the beginning when it loads. So loads the save game. So and then we want to change this text to be continue. And then it's going to do, yeah, it's going to do that from the middle. Okay, what if we do it from the upper center or the lower center? No. Spacing. Well, it doesn't really matter right now. So what we'll do, so we need more buttons anyway. So settings button. And that one will be, this will be non-functional right now. We're not going to implement this at all in this series, I don't think. But this is where you would put your settings. And the next one would be exit or button quit. and quit. Quit game. And for some reason, it's not doing this properly. So let's see. We have to do a negative, there we go, negative spacing, -50. Okay. But we only want to see new game, or one of those, not the other one. So we will, if we uncheck that, you'll see that it changes it automatically. So what we want to do is, in this game manager that we have, we can do a run conditions on this. So let's do a conditions, add a branch, and if we want to check if there's a saved game. If there's a saved game at slot 1, because we're using slot 1 in this, so if there's a saved game at 1, then we set active the button. If there is a save game, then we want to continue. And we want to deactivate the new button new. Deactivate. Okay, and then if the opposite is true, if there is not a save game, then we want to do the opposite. So this time we want the button new game to be true and button continue to false. To false. Okay, good. So that will set those accordingly. And then we have to run the conditions. And we can get rid of these because these are going to both be, actually, we're going to turn those off. And we're going to make sure that the main menu, the main menu is visible. So we've got those, and then it'll set the buttons accordingly. So we should only see one of these two, and those are fine. And then the quit game, we might as well put in the instruction for that. Quit application. So that's easy enough. This we're not going to do right now. So let's save this and see if it works. All right, so we see new game because there's no save right now, and now so then we get to our new game. Now we want a previous here as well, so we can put that in as well. We're going to want a button previous in here. Class select. Let's turn that on. Turn this off. Turn that on. And button continue. We want to clone that and make it button previous. And then we will just move it over. Move it over. And we can move both of them just a bit. No, actually we can't do that. Can't do that. We can do it this way though. So that's that. And previous. And we want to we don't want this. We want this one to true, the main menu, and then active class select to false, set, and we didn't select anything, so no, we don't need that. And do we need this? No, I don't think so. No, we don't need this, and we don't need that. We don't need this conditions. Just a simple back to the main menu is going to do. And then we'll see. Okay, so yeah, new game. Yep. And then previous. There we go. Perfect. And then quit game works. So that's good. Okay, so all the menu stuff is done. So the next thing to be done would be to allocate the points that were selected to the character when the main scene loads, so that the actual and update the formulas in order to calculate the stats. So that'll be in part 3 of this sort of sub series within the FPS series. So that will be the next part. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe for more like this. And thanks to my patrons. If you would like to be a patron, please check out the link down below. And I will see you in the next one.